Alright guys, so what's going on? I'm going to go over a little how-to video here for you. This is how I'm making some scale straps here. Well, a little better scale, an actual like pull strap. So I got some heavy-duty ribbon here. It's like a double bolstered. It's very strong. I've already made one, but I'm gonna make another one. I've improved it a little bit. This stuff's really cheap. I got it at Walmart. This is a 1/4 inch, 6 yards of it for like 89 cents. I think is what I paid for this. So you can make a ton of straps out of this stuff. So I'm making some pull straps, some better scale pull straps than what I made last time. So you'll need some heavier duty heat shrink. I use this super glue. You need the thin. This is the old school style stuff. I love this stuff from the Dollar Tree. Also from the Dollar Tree, this is some heavy wire that's easy to manipulate and bend. You can even tie it, but it is wire, metal wire. Something to build your tote hooks out of. This is just a hanging chain for like shop lights. It's about the right size to build some scale hooks that you can still hook into stuff. Okay, so you need that. You'll have to have something to melt your heat shrink, a lighter, heavy duty stapler. This found this at a secondhand shop. Needle nose pliers and some good scissors. All this stuff I bought from the Dollar Tree, guys. Really cheap. Obviously, it's like $1.25. This super glue is some of the best stuff that I've ever used for anything. So, what you're going to do is just make your hook first. I've already made one of them here. Just bend it out. What I do is I just take, I think I already started bending one of these out. You'll just take your needle nose pliers and go in here and bend your chain out and take that out, so you don't need that. Set it off to the side. And then unless it was like actual, you're going to want to start your ribbon here into one side of your hook. And then pull a little bit extra through. I just pull a little bit here. You don't need a lot. Okay?
Yeah, never mind. Then
you want to make sure everything's laying down flat here. And then, because you can bend your hook out when you're done. And I just smash this back down in. Now this is some pretty decent strong metal chain, so it'll hold a lot before it starts pulling apart. So then I open up my little hole, my little spot here, my other end, and this is gonna make my hook. Okay, so we got our little hook.
That sounds about right.
This is basically when you buy those scale straps online. This is basically what they make the hooks out of. It's just like a cheap chrome moly steel stuff. So you can leave it hooked to your other side of your ribbon. And then you just take you want to make sure you have 2 hooks made. And you want to cut your heat shrink to whatever length that you want to cut. I've already got this cut. That's why you need the scissors. So I just pull a little extra here. Okay, so pull a little extra. What we're going to do is pull this tight. And it's kind of a pain in the butt. Get it set in your stapler. You want to make sure your ribbons overlapping each other pretty well. I just take my stapler where I want to put my staple in it. Make sure it's pulled pretty tight. Take your stapler. Hit it. Make sure it goes through both sides of your ribbon. Okay, so you got your staple there. Now obviously the staple's not going to be enough here to hold it, so you take your super glue, and this super glue actually melts anything that's like nylon or anything like that almost together. So we're not gonna, you can just take your super glue now if you wanted, and you could just glue this together, but we're not gonna do that. To add extra strength, we're gonna take our wire. And then you'll need wire snips. This is just thin wire, guys. It cuts really easy. I'm going to start up here right above our staple. And we're just going to start wrapping it down here. Just kind of bend it. Start getting it bent. It's kind of fidgety to get started.
There's more text than just heavy.
And then we're just going to wrap this pretty tight. I'm going to go ahead and trim this down so we don't have this wire weight of the wire. You can see how easy that cuts. So we're just going to take our wire here and we're just going to wrap it around. Going down around our staple, okay? And then we'll start take our needle nose pliers.
Terrible. What about yours?
It's kind of hard for me to do because the grip on my hand is it's hard for me to control the grip on my hand where I got a messed up hand. But
we're Masons and we are absolutely.
So we got our little
PC players that are level 800 that are.
I know this works because I've pulled countless of times with my other ones.
Doing what they do best.
And we're just going to smash our wire down here. This is why I like this wire down tight.
I know we weren't going to get
okay?
We're not gonna get the next one.
So next thing we're going to do is we're going to take our super glue. And we're going to soak our, lay it down here. And we're just going to soak this all in our super glue. And sometimes this will actually let off a little bit of smoke. It's really kind of a cool thing. I'm just going to let that dry a little bit here. We're going to come here on our other side where our staple's at. We're going to super glue all this down. You do use quite a bit of super glue for this. Okay. So we're going to let that dry a little bit. And it really fuses this ribbon down, guys. It will not come apart. Put a cap back on our super glue. We're going to trim this to the length that we want. I want it pretty long. I make mine fairly long. That way you can get out good reach away from stuff.
You know what he's using an axe? Because it says probably day an axe. Oh.
Cut your other end of your ribbon.
Yeah.
Take your heat shrink. The heavier duty the heat shrink, the better. This is the stuff from Harbor Freight that they sell. It's pretty good stuff. I've used a lot of it. And doesn't matter if your super glue's super duper dry or whatever. So we're just going to come up here right here to our end. Okay. And I'm going to take my heat gun. A lighter works fine. You want to make sure the super glue's good and dried for the heat gun. Heat gun on the low setting. I'm going to hit that heat shrink up. Okay. This is the heavier duty heat shrink, so it takes a little bit to get it to pull tight. Just like that. I'm going to lay that down because it's super hot. I done burnt myself once, so grab my needle nose pliers because that hook will be hot. And you got your
You destroyed 4 out of the 5 rocks.
Homemade. I could have made it prettier. You can see up here where I wound this down tighter where the wire's at with the heat shrink there. Now, I should have run the wire all the way down here farther, but that'll work just fine. It ain't going to come off. Your hook still pivots around on here. And these are plenty strong enough for a 1/10 scale, pulling on a winch. And they're just a lot more scale. You know, you can build a bunch of these, and it's, you know, really don't cost you that much. So then you just do the same thing over here on this end. So we've already got our hook here made up. So you want to slide your heat shrink on, because it's not open on that end anymore. So you want to slide your heat shrink. Okay. Work a heat shrink I just run it all the way down. We're going to run the same thing here. We're going to run our ribbon through here.
Change your secondary
Make sure you get this double bolstered ribbon, guys. This isn't really like ribbon like you tie Christmas presents with. This is a heavier duty nylon double bolstered. I forget what they call this. Right here it is. Simply cross grain, woven in the USA, Berwick overlay, 100% polyester. So this is a heavier duty stuff. So the same thing. I'm not going to come down as far with this one.
Yep, he just killed about 3 bots in one.
Okay. And then pull it tight. Hopefully we're in the camera. And a lot of your new staplers aren't strong enough to do this. This is an old stapler that my son picked up for me. We were in a just like an old thrift store in town. I've bought a lot of stuff from there, actually. You want to try to pull that as tight as you can. It's hard to do with just 2 hands here, because you want to make sure you get this in the middle spot as you can with this stapler. And then make sure your staple ran all the way through. Same thing here. I'm going to go ahead and pull a piece of this out. Like I said, you don't have to do this with the wiring or with the wire, but I mean, I am. Just because it adds a little extra. This strap will break before the super glue and this wire give out, so I'm going to cut this one a little longer. I'm going to try to wrap it a little tighter. Alright, so get it started right up here underneath your hook, and then just kind of bend it around. Okay, and then you just start wrapping it. This is the best way to do it right here, I've found. Pull it pretty tight. You want it wrapped around that staple, just like that right there. And I'm going to wrap it like this all the way down. Okay. We're going to wrap this one clear to the end this time. Okay, because it'll look a little better done up that way.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
The other one I made, I tested out. I pulled it with the winch, picked up 9 pounds with it. Of course, you're going to have a lot more if you're pulling off of it down on it. So now when you get down here, you got to be careful. You want to make sure you wrap this thing pretty super tight. And then I just take my needle nose pliers.
I was going to say, because I heard the thing, but no.
Squeeze it down. Because when you start buying these things, man, they can cost you quite a bit of money. And I've not had a trouble. We've not broke a single one of these I've made this way. And we've done a lot of testing on them. So, and then I just take the super glue. And I just drip the super glue down in there, guys. Get it good. Usually I take any of the extra threads and I melt it, because this stuff melts really well here. Like you see that thread hanging out. And I melt it down so there's no threads exposed or anything like that. But I'm not worried about it. I just wanted to do this one on camera. Yeah, there's some kind of chemical reaction that super glue has with this polyester and this nylon and stuff, and it kind of does put off some fumes, so you want a pretty open area when you're doing this. So I'm gonna let that dry just a second here, and then we're gonna slide our, and you can do this with the fancier, nicer red hooks you can get on Amazon. You can pick up those red hooks really cheap and make them look better. I just made these hooks. I've not broke one of these hooks yet. Lots of pulling on them. And we're just going to slide this right up here to our end. And then we're just going to grab our heat gun again. Honestly, the lighter I think works a little better for this. On low, get it started. And just let your heat shrink do the work. Just like that right there, guys. Cheap, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. for a nice scale, pretty scale tow rope, or tow strap, not a tow rope. I think these companies, you know, because this is like the old school yellow, you know, tow straps, pull straps that you can buy. And then, I mean, you could do whatever you want, change them around, but that's just the simple way. You can also take this and loop it and just do the same thing with your staple and your heat shrink and just use like a loop like this right here and use that to loop it over, whatever. These are just a pretty nice, you know, if you want to get super scale, I'll grab the other one here, make sure we're still recording. Yes, we are.
Oh, that's not.
This is what I'm going to make my ratchet straps out of because it's even more scale. And this is the same stuff, but it's an 1/8 inch is what this is right here. You could also probably get away. I don't know if that would hold pulling real hard with a winch because if you look here, this has that double bolstered side pieces right here. But that's what you get right there, guys, in the end result. And you can pull. If it breaks, who cares? You got hardly nothing in it. Walmart, 89 cents, 6 yards worth. You can make all the scale toe strap pulling stuff that you want. This would be a really good right here, size, scale-wise, for like your Gen 8s and your TRX4s. This, you know, it looks a little big for like your RC four-wheel drive trucks, but not really, because if you look up off-road, you know, pull straps, toe straps, they're pretty big in your hand. So this is pretty scale, really. But I have noticed the red hooks I was telling you about earlier. I got some of them off Amazon. I have broke them pulling on them, and these have not broke on me yet. And then if you want a bigger loop, what's nice about these is you can just hook them into your strap itself and then make a bigger loop and loop it over a tree or a rock. You can actually pull this really nice. That's why I make them a little longer. I wish I'd have made this one even longer, but you know, you can loop this around a rock end and pull on it pretty hard. You know, but it ain't going to pull apart on your brake. So I've been testing these, making them for a while. And I just like this flat stuff better than the nylon, you know, rope cord stuff. So, you know, this stuff's really strong, guys. I'm pulling it pretty hard right there, and it's not breaking. Now, obviously, if you start cutting into this, it's going to rip. It's going to lose the strength. But don't take very long to make them. You can pick up the stuff cheap. Paid $1 for the stapler. 89 cents for this stuff. Like I said, this is going to be ratchet straps. I can make tons and tons. I'm making these for my buddies too, because I just think these are more scale. And I'm making all these to haul in my rigs because I scale drive my stuff. And these work really nice. Even my big RC four-wheel drive Warn winch didn't break the last ones that I made. I ended up breaking the Fairlead piece on the front pulling it before these pulled apart. So they work really well, guys. I just wanted to share that with you. I had some time here today. It's raining, bad weather. I figured I'd video making it. So anyhow, from the RC Dungeon, peace.